Hey yo, it's me, the one AJ.
And me, Double V, all feeling a bit down in the dumps, and it's not because of the Manchester train home.
No, we done the unforeseeable. We stayed up all night after a brilliant show, just to be disappointed by yet another show. Look, the card itself, very good. The ending sucked.
Even calling it very good, I think, is being a bit generous. It was safe and serviceable. I think there was some standouts like the TLC match, which were fun, albeit short, but gave us some memorable spots. I thought Becky and Lyra were the two standouts of the entire weekend. We're not here to talk about that. Let's just get to it. The title is They Ruined It. They've ruined it.
They've ruined it. So you
botched it.
You have John Cena going out saying, I'm going to ruin wrestling, I'm going to take this belt with me upon retirement. 3 months later, not even 6, to cause panic, he just randomly wakes up on SmackDown and says, hey, I'm face.
Because reasons. Reasons.
Is the mic going to catch this, or are we strong enough? Yeah, I'm going to pause.
There are many options.
Right, resuming from the pleasures of travelling on the train. Right, you've got John Cena saying I've woken up and I was wrong, and it's got the whole world saying, oh, nice swerve. Where are we going to go with this? What's the outcome? No, there was no outcome.
This is a perfect microcosm of my issues with this company, because there's layers of how insidious and malicious and disregarding of their fans this is, and it all starts with, as you've said, the completely out of nowhere unjustified babyface turn. Don't get me wrong, I'm not unfamiliar with the concept of the pivot when it comes to this sports entertainment industry. The pivot is a necessary thing.
All this title, if we're honest.
Oh yeah, facts, all this title. The pivot is a thing. You have to pivot with a little bit more sense than I just woke up and thought better of myself. That it doesn't make a world of sense. And this is where it gets malicious. The pivot is one thing. The pivot wasn't malicious. The pivot was just badly booked. And yeah, there's still going to be the Fed heads out there who are going to say Levesque is Booker of the Year. If you're one of those people, have a chat with yourself, because I don't know how this can be defended. On a logical level, this can't be defended. And I know there's going to be the more neutral people out there who are going to go, let it play out. I'm like, no, this is where the insidious nature of the beast comes in. Speaking of the beast, let's bring him in. Because bringing Lesnar in it's kind of like, I hate to name drop, but it's kind of like Trump and his politics. It's like, how many crazy stuff can I do so that they don't talk about the previous crazy thing I did, right? It's like, so we've botched this babyface turn, and for all intents and purposes, most of the heel run's been a botch, right? But now, how can we mask that? Let's bring in Lesnar and not address the fact that, oh, he just became babyface because reasons. Had it been a swerve? Good swerve. Right? They actually had the opportunity to make it a good swerve. It wasn't a good swerve. So what they've tried to do is mask that by bringing in Lesnar. And with Lesnar comes a whole messy business, because then we have to divert to the fact that Levesque and the corpos are saying that, we're not going to do press conferences anymore. Well, we know why now, don't we? Because any journalist worth his socks would have put his hand up and go, yo, Lesnar, talk to me.
So you're back.
Make that make sense. So the Janelle Grant lawsuit, how's that going?
I don't believe it. I believe before that camera even fades over, everyone knows that JG's name is not to be mentioned. It's just not the way of it. But
any journalist worth his socks is seeing Brock Lesnar return after his association with JG, and there would be a question. You would never be invited back, but that question would be asked.
Look, I think there was a lot of stuff that was mentioned in the VKM era where we were told, like, he's gone. This is about us. This is what we focus on. So we know. I get it. You would ask, and you expect the brush off. There's nothing that would happen. Alternatively, Brock at a press conference, I don't see. This is the stuff that Heyman would have done.
Not Brock at a press conference. I'm saying that they would have. There would have been questions for Paul about what the hell's that about.
For sure.
That make sense. And so not only have the press conferences now stopped, which in itself is insidious because you're essentially censoring the press there from asking the questions that everyone wants to be asked, right? So that's insidious. And then you've got the fact that you're detracting from the actual terrible narrative you've delivered to the fans who have paid upwards of £20,000 for front row tickets. So that's a disrespect to your fan base, who blindly and seemingly will continue to pay these inflated rates. But that's between the individuals and their bank accounts, right? Frankly, I think if I'd paid £20,000 to see that story unfold, I would have sooner taken a new car or down payment on a mortgage. And then you've got the fact that they're now, and this is the part I find really malicious, if Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez are to be believed over at Wrestling Observer Radio, and I appreciate take what those boys say with a pinch of salt, but somewhere in all of the salt there's some truth, right? Allegedly, what's happened now is that, and this isn't the Fed, this is Triple H,
Okay.
saying, but John Cena wanted to wrestle Brock. Now, let's go down with that route of logic. Do I think there's a lot more sense in having a babyface Cena if he's going against Brock, having Brock be the heel? Sure. The means by which we got there was messy at best, and that's me not swearing because I'm in a public transport at the moment. But, fill in the blanks of what I'm trying to say here. Where I find it really despicable, is the fact that imagine Cena came out and said, I want to wrestle Kenny Omega. Well, no.
Forbidden Door's looking different.
Forbidden, you know what I mean? It's like, just because John Cena said, I want to wrestle this guy, that doesn't mean he's got creative control over who he wrestles. I'm sure he can have an input. Case in point, I'd like to wrestle Kenny Omega. No, I'd like to wrestle Brock Lesnar. I'm sure that he maybe said that and that there was a means of making that happen, but for that to now be their soundbite of, we brought Brock back because of John. Get out of my face.
Look, my thing with Brock is that Brock is a bit of a grey area. We were never too sure, and the return was imminent. So you want to say John asked for him to come back? John asked for him to come back. You want to bring him back? You bring him back. The means to your ends, I don't agree with. I just feel like let's play into it, because we talk about it plays better as a heel. We had Randy versus Cena for the first time with role reversal. This is the thing. If we're gonna do this, let's do this. And what troubles me with this whole situation is John comes out and says next year is my last year. He's given every fan the opportunity to know what's coming, which I respect more than a man I'm looking to see. Dwayne gives me these elements of this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen, doesn't turn up. WrestleMania 39, case in point, your ticket. You're talking about the violation of ticket price. You spent what you spent and didn't get what you were promised or led to believe.
Highly influenced to believe.
Yeah, exactly. So now we're in this situation that, okay, this guy's promised he's going to be here. So heel or face, people don't care. You're seeing this man on the final run. But we know there's a final run, and yes, you can pivot because things aren't working. But you should have had a year to have mapped this out. Right. The return of the same person should have been on the cards, and if we know that he can come back, then that's part of the agenda. But I woke up face now after you guys have never respected me, this is an abusive relationship, XYZ, and all the other stuff that he made as a positive soundbite for this thing has now just become, actually no, I was wrong, I'm back, you wanted the best John Cena. And here's the thing, I know in a storyline for the kids, the best John Cena is having the fans behind him, and that's what makes me Super Cena. For sure. But on the other side, that's what makes you the best version of me, just because I woke up and I'd be a good guy. No, I could be Dr. Thugonomics started off that way. Like, let's not be, make it make sense. And that's what hurts me, the lack of logic in this whole build. The Lesnar thing, I can understand that some people are like, but it's that. I will see it as and it's no discredit to you when I say this, a grey area and an imminent return. Just the means by which the return was done, you're just trying to cover up that you have no idea what you're doing, but you're actually highlighting you have no idea what you're doing.
Perfectly said. And that's and now it kind of comes to a question about the fan base, because you'd have to be a next level blind Fed head to not have an issue with this. Oh, this was great, Brock came back, and it sickened me to my stomach because people popped for him. Like that roof, not that there was a roof, but that roof metaphorically came undone, right? And it was like, obviously there's the surprise in the moment, so you let your emotions get carried away with you. Oh, well, Brock's back, right? But you hear the reports and it's like, people were up on their seats, people were screaming, people were so happy. I'm like, You've just been worked by the company that overcharges you on your ticket fees. What they have just said now is, let's forget about what this whole Cena thing was. Here, look, shiny new toy. It's literally dangling a shiny new toy in front of a child at Christmas, and you're being treated like children and allowing yourself to buy into this stuff. I hate to make this a tribal thing, but when I hear things like AEW are terrible because Tony Khan mismanaged CM Punk, a guy with a notoriously inflated ego. AEW are terrible because after Punk left, who were they? Which is true, by the way. You've heard me say this on record numerous times. Post-Punk, that company has been in trouble for the last year and a half, and it's only in the last few months that they've really started to find their feet again. There's some critical acclaim. They've banished the ghost of CM Punk now by putting the belt back on Hangman. And my favourite, which you've heard me say on the channel before, my personal favourite is, FAW. All they'd put on is 5-star matches. How is that a bad thing? When did saying that all they do is 5-star matches is bad? I've seen it in comment sections. If you want 5-star matches, go over to AEW. This is about storytelling. Okay. Make this story make sense, AJ. You're Dr. Fed. Come on.
We all know the blood types I've proclaimed because, hey, it brought me to the game. I think on the 5-star thing, it's when people comment and they say, bring in the opposition. I think the 5-star is more of a shot at Dave than an actual, oh no, we know they do good wrestling. It's like, if that's what you're looking for, go over there. But what I will say on the other side is,
but then there'll be no criticism levied at what just happened this weekend.
Is look, if you're a fan of the game, and I'm not talking Paul, I'm talking the industry, you have to be screwed on and call bad where bad is and good where good is. Otherwise, you're not worth a grain of rice at this point. So, like, you have to acknowledge.
It's just bad faith.
You just
it's bad faith commentary.
Yeah, and you have to just acknowledge what works and what doesn't. And as I said, there's course correction. That's all good. But I'm going to go back to what you said. If there was a roof, it's no longer there from what happened with Brock. So you're telling me that had you brought him back and continued with the story of heel Cena, and he could have grabbed the mic and been like, even your American nightmare couldn't stop me. There's no man alive. Well, you know what? Here's a beast. Yeah. And that same, the pop would have been there. And now we're going to be like,
100%.
This is where
100%.
This is where he drops. This is where the turn begins. And it could have been.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. So I get the awkwardness behind it. I don't understand why, if you're just going to be like, well, court of law says that this guy's innocent, he's got nothing to do with it, he was just mentioned, cool, he's back. Even if you don't want to face a press conference with that, it's fine. But I think the press conferences, like, even that, I appreciate the insidiousness. There's the timing seemed wrong. Let's be honest, AEW started it, and maybe WWE just realised it wasn't working for them, especially when they're on current course correct. There's only so much you can cover up. That could be the thing in all of this. So they're like, you know what, this hasn't been working for us for a while. Some people can handle it, others are just not there. Jey Uso, we laugh at the drunk. It's really despicable, really, to have that in a press conference. So these be the reasons, but the logic behind all of this. We had one man talking about ruining wrestling at the end of the year. We got to August and you guys have ruined it for yourselves. That's what bugs me.
Of course, it's all hyperbole. They've ruined wrestling. Because thankfully there's other wrestling promotions available, and I'm sure within a few weeks we will have forgotten about all this. That is the
mind of a fan.
The mind of a fan, the nature of the business. You know, in the moment we get angry about the existing screw up, and we move on to the next thing to either love or criticize. That's been the way it's been since you and me have been kids, right? But you got to also have a bit of memory. Like, you can't be exercising your right to be a goldfish on these things. What I'm asking people, like open forum here, is like, come the end of the year, when the dust is settled on all this and John Cena rides off into the sunset, and of course the moment itself, which I'll come back to in a moment actually, the moment itself of John Cena riding off will be emotional, will be saying thank you Cena, and this, even though it's a few months ago,
the end of SummerSlam showed that that's what will happen. You can see the love is there for him.
He's the GOAT. He just is, like, It's going to be
The
sad.
one who it didn't work for is no longer here to intervene on that. So
Yeah.
he is the current GOAT.
Yeah, like it's going to be sad to see him leave, and that overswelling of emotion is going to shadow any negativity that came with this run. That's the huge advantage they have with booking a guy like that. Like no matter how badly they screw up, it's going to end with everyone fist pumping the air, crying and saying thank you. That is going to be the end trajectory. When that dust has settled, have the whereabouts without you to be able to exercise a bit of critical thinking. Be able to say, the ending was great, Cena's the GOAT, we love him, we're sad to see him go. However,
Well, look, let's be real. You could look at even the Last Ride documentary. Taker being
To work.
I like how 4 years later, but to be fair, it's still been in the ring, so credit to you. But the other side of it is he acknowledged the bad matches, you know, the tag match and what have you. So there is a point where you could be like, it wasn't the perfect run that I wanted, but at least I got to bow on my sword the way I wanted to. And I think that final goodbye will be that. So it will be there. It may not have been a perfect run, but it was my run, and I know Cena, he wouldn't want it any other way, you know. It's like, well, we hit, we missed. This is the industry, and that's what he is. He's an industry man through and through. But no, this is bad.
but it is bad, and so what I'm asking is, when it comes to Booker of the Year, and these essentially polls and votes and comments and posts that in the grand scheme of the industry mean absolutely nothing. They mean nothing. By January 1st, we will have forgotten who the Booker of the Year on December 31st was. That's the mindset. But on December 31st, when it comes to casting your vote on who the Booker of the Year is, whatever platform you're voting on, please just have a chat with yourself. Please really have a chat and think, hey, is it right that they set up the greatest heel turn since Hulk Hogan at Bash of the Beach in 96? That is beyond the shadow of a doubt. The ultimate good guy became a bad guy. That's what they gave us at Elimination Chamber. To then botch it in such a mediocre way where it just made people go, ugh, okay, so how are we getting to the end? That was bad enough. But to then take that level of negativity and somehow make it even worse and be like, yeah, we actually never really had this planned out, which is the essence of bad booking, by the way. We never had this planned out, and yeah, we're kind of just gonna turn him because reasons. And then when you're all thinking it's a swerve, unfortunately it's not a swerve. And also, by the way, hey look, shiny toy, Brock Lesnar's back. Don't ask questions.
Look, this is going to be one of the things, but I guarantee you there will be an argument out there, and I don't know who my Booker of the Year is. If I did,
Tony.
Well, I'm just talking from my perspective here. There are people who may have some great moments going on at TNA. When I say I don't know mine, I could possibly even reach on the UK scene this year. I do not know. What I will say is that you will find some names out there who will say, but this is the company that gave it, I don't know if we're in the right year, the Dominic double turn, the greatest heel turn of Cena, the return, and they'll quote the moment. And I think what you have to look at,
That's what I wanted to come back to.
They're going to quote the moments as opposed to the reality of what is going on. So yeah, look, we talk about TLC. It was a spot fest. You said the match was too short. They got their spots. They got it out. That was all they had to do. And you have to separate that from a good match. And I'm not saying it was a bad match. It was just a spot fest, which isn't a problem. And this is the same thing here when you're looking at a booker objectively, guys. And that could be based on our award system. Look at the whole way through. So when we put what we say and you want to vote, whichever way you do, just take a vote. We'll put the contenders out. You guys will have to vote.
And it was the...
Okay. False alarm.
It was the moments thing I wanted to come back to. They confirmed last night more than ever that they are not a company capable of anything more than moments. That Brock Lesnar return was a moment. The Cena heel turn Elimination Chamber was a moment.
So here's something I forgot to mention here.
You said it yourself, by the way. Sorry, just to finish up my point. You said it yourself. You said this. They showed that there was no 1 year plan.
No 1 year plan.
Bad booking.
No 1 year plan, and investment in stars over investment of your stars. Because and this is something I'm going to pitch to you now. Let's say that Cena had the MFTs who were having his back because they were sent by Dwayne. You can still have your feud with Jacob, just like Braun had a feud with the Bloodline, but was still there for Seth. You could have easily had the MFTs having Cena's back, him backing them, and now all this course correction can work its way through because he turns his back on them. Like, no, this is the way I want to do it. Forget what Dwayne says. Da 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 da. But we've invested in Dwayne, who's never available, and we've invested in Travis Scott, who's had a feud and walked away. Now Cena's got nothing to fall back on, and now your story's gone round. So if you want to do it, look at the investment in stars for your company over these great moments. Because yeah, you know what? Great for Jelly Roll. What's next for Randy?
Yeah. I think we've kind of touched on everything there. Like, it does, I think, and I've said this before, I think it shows a real disdain from the company to their fans to keep almost smiling at them and dangling shiny toys in their face, asking them to pay extortionate ticket prices while delivering nothing more than moments, but no narrative threads to join the moments. And I think that is the hallmark of lazy booking, malicious corporate greed, and just out and out laziness and a disdain for fandom. And I don't like being treated, or feel like I'm being treated by a brand who I've got an incredible amount of emotional and financial investment in, only for them to turn around and be like, we didn't really plan any of this, but we were happy to take your money doing so.
Let's be real. If you had a wheel, if you, I can't think of the analogy right now, but you're going to make it while you can. You will ride this coattail for as long as you can. So is it unfair and unjust? Yeah, but the rule of business is make as much as you can as quick as you can. You know, if you are...
Oh, they're the best at that.
No, but this is... Let's be real. Be it Tony, but what have you? I can blame them, but the responsibility lies, and this, as he called me, Dr. WWE. This is on us, guys. You talk about it.
That's your name from now on, Dr.
We talk about the price of admission in cinemas and stuff like that on a silver screen dude front. If you do not agree, you have to pull back. And again, if it was me,
we have. Have you noticed how little we're going now?
Listen, I know I'm dead, but I'm saying if it was me, I'm speaking to the audience here. If this was me, I would make sure they didn't have a front row at their next show. Move me forward. I will pay a lower price. Let's see that this pricing structure does not work. This booking does not work.
Fan unionization.
Well, listen, it's that, because until that, and I'm not knocking any company, but the stuff that we disagree with, if you willingly pay upwards of 25k or whatever the hell it was for a front row seat, why would you stop? Oh, actually, do you know what? Clash in Paris is coming. I think we done a bad turn on Cena. Let's reduce the price. Heck no, you'll do it because people are still paying it. No. And this is the sad thing about it.
And that's why the message goes out to the fans. It's like, stop accepting mediocrity and being treated subparly.
That's the thing. So, do I blame them for what they did? No, because if I had the opportunity, I'd be a hypocrite to say I wouldn't do it. I know I would. But guys, you had a year. You know this guy can come back.
This is not just anyone. This isn't a Goldberg at Saturday Night Main Event. And even that should have been done better, in my opinion. This is Cena, man. This is the never seen 17. Yes, I know Flair had more. But this is still John Cena. This is like... this is the irony, right? For Dr. Dubs like yourself who are married to the Fed, this is your guy. Like, this is your company's DNA personified. And even then he's being mistreated and misbooked. It's maddening. It's just maddening. And it's maddening that people refuse to see that. It's not that they can't. is they refuse to. It's like an ostrich burying its head in the sand.
Over the years, misfires will happen. That's just the way. That's the nature of it.
The misfire.
What I'm saying is, people will always be like, "But look, we had an era, and it's sad to say, it was during the Super Cena era where we endured. It was literally an endurance. It was like, okay, here we go again. You know, you're trying to convince me that there's money in Great Khali versus John Cena. It just didn't work. It just didn't. Like, you know, these are the things that we have to work with it. We saw the course correction of 39 to 40 and all of this madness, and we've seen the Taker mishaps. Things will go wrong. I get that. Acknowledging that it's going wrong and trying to fix it.
Yeah.
The way you fix it could be wrong, and you know, I've seen Unreal. I see the things. I'd love to sit at that table. Paul, if you're watching, call me. But like, I just feel
he's too busy getting his dick sucked from Unreal. I'm sorry, it's a self-fellatio show. It really is.
Opinions be opinions, but yeah, my thing is that was not the best way to have gone about a face turn. The cover up of Brock coming back is not an excuse, because there are a million ways that could have been booked.
It's frustrating.
Do better. Yeah, well, I'll play it out because that's what we do, but not impressed.
No comments.
Okay, so from me, the one AJ.
Double V in the house right here. Sorry for being ever so slightly negative today, but I'm being real. I'm just being real.
There should have been excitement. It just wasn't that. So, guys, we out. See ya.
See ya.